Alright, maybe pretty weird. I'm already sort of updating the tier list because I usually take longer, but I'm expecting actually a new banner next week and a new festival 2 weeks after that. So I wanted to have that time to rank that unit. And because Meliodas has been such a game changer, I think that a lot of positions merit changes. So it won't be short to talk just about Meliodas' changes anyways. So you got two new characters, new Trader Meliodas, you know him, and the new Green Saurio. Hasn't come out on global yet, but it should come out in a few days. And quick, Sario just came out, but it's a very simple unit for now that it won't be too hard to rank anyways. Some positions I want to change. I made a mistake last time because I have this thing where I take some notes before recording a tier list video, but I don't follow them. Lilia should 100% be on the top. She's just absolutely nuts in every single way. So I don't know why she wasn't already. I do want to say I really want to put Bond back up alongside Arthur and Terry. They have been actually really good against the current meta. But it depends. It really does depend on who you're facing. And I'm going to put Salt Meliodas down. Salt Meliodas gets absolutely cocked by any team that he faces now. If you face a King team, you're mega cocked. If you face a new Trader Melee team, you're mega cocked. I still think he's really good, and people really underrate him, but only on Geared, of course. Geared, he gets cream pied. But definitely not up there. Definitely not up there. And I definitely also want to put Escaner up because he's really good with Trader Melee. So I will. It's really weird because I feel like the one hasn't really changed in any way, even though he does work well with Melee. He still hits decent for today's standards. But for some reason he works really well with Melee. It doesn't work as well as Kyo and Lilia, but he works really well with Melee, so I want to put him up there again. By the way, I consider every unit on my list to have Holy Relics, because I think it's more simple that every single character that I consider on the list has Holy Relics. Merlin got a new Holy Relic, but she was already up at the top. So for me, it hasn't changed much. I kind of want to move down Fast Galfer. Like, to me, it doesn't seem like any Fast Galfer teams have been that great. Like, it's, oh, the Fast Galfer with Emilia and Merlin. But yeah, but you can definitely have better results without actually using Fast Galfer, because right now the meta doesn't really focus on level 2 and 3 cards. It really just focuses on turn 1, what you can do with those level 1s. Good example is Trader Melee. Like, turn 1, he just absolutely eviscerates with level 1 cards. So I'm gonna put him down. Still in a good tier, obviously, but I would not say that he's up here with the big boys. And yeah, I mean, of course, Arthur is also really good with Lilia. But Bond has been doing surprisingly well on the meta. And I think it's mostly Terry. When Terry targets Meliodas, like an enemy Meliodas, it really cocks them. It really does. That decrease on damage is very significant. I'm putting down Yori. I used him recently. He just can't compete. I love the guy, but he just can't compete. Yeah, those are all my notes I had for PvP. There's definitely someone I'm missing. I want to put Roxy up because her Holy Relic is actually pretty good, so I will. I kind of want to put Green Easton up, but I won't. I think that she's competent, but if you're using Green Easton and ironically, you're going to get absolutely shredded. Although Green Roxy, you can make the same argument, but the Green Roxy on the what's it called? You know, Green Valencia definitely I want to put up. I don't know if I want to put up on sub meta. She's been working pretty well. I think that the Catastrophe team with her Holy Relic works pretty well, because if one of the characters die, then she gets the She gets to buff the allies, but not buff, but you know, she gives them the ultimate gauge, and I think it's pretty useful. But yeah, also Mono, I think, you know, she's in that team, so those characters should actually go up there. I was also thinking of putting up Green Diana because she can be decent with Trader Melee for an Ultraverse team, but decent is all I'm giving. So I'm not even calling it competent. Yeah, that's about it. I think that's about it for changes. I was also thinking of changing Lilia and my boy Up for the Pierce team, but let's be real, like it's not really good. It's good for a YouTube video, but it's not really good in practice. Lilia and Lilia should go down actually. If you're gonna use a Pierce team, you might as well use Trader Melee. So with all that talk of changes here, I might even come back into some more, but of course Trader Melee is like he's like the best unit in the game. Like we had just got like arguably the best unit in the game released like a month before him, and they were like, you know what, we can do better. And then they released Meliodas, which is insane. They're absolutely disgusting. Like the back-to-back banners of King and Meliodas is absolutely disgusting. True, absolutely nasty units. Nasty units. So of course Meliodas goes up there. Saurio is really good, but I'm considering for now only putting him incompetent. Like right now, I don't see a reason to use Saurio. Realistically, like I from the time I've used of him, I want to say I want to put him here. Definitely not here, but I want to say I want to put him here. Only because he's been doing me pretty well for the most part. If you're using him on his proper team, the buffs and stuff, they work pretty well, but right now, there's no unit using his passive. Like, Saurio is a more recent unit, so maybe you don't know exactly what he does. His passive is increases the 4 Archangel's allies crit damage by 8% for every buff effect on the battlefield, right? And that's very specific. The 4 Archangels, there's only 3 characters that he can buff. There's only two characters he can buff, other than himself, right? There's Tarmiel and there's Margaret. Those are the 2 only characters. And Margaret is the only one that's actually using that, because Tarmiel doesn't crit. Like, buffing Tarmiel's crit damage is pointless. I was thinking, should I type Tarmiel or Ludocia? Ludocia, right? Ludocia's should pull in game. Ludocia's crit chance is not what I would call amazing, right? I put it in game. Ludocia's crit chance is 74%, which in today's standards is not the bestest. So, like if Margaret is critting, like I guess it gets buffed, but right now, there's not anyone that he's buffing, really. Like, he's buffing himself. His passive is just himself. And I think that's because there's a future unit coming that's going to make use out of that passive. That's my only explanation why. That's why it's so specific, the 4 Archangels. There's a 4 Archangel character coming that's going to be using his passive much, much more. The Grace is actually interesting. For the most part, I do prefer the other Saurio Grace because you have to pick one or the other. When the hero uses skill, decreases all enemies' crit chance by 3%, crit damage by 8% for 2 turns. I think in a non-crit based team, you can use this passive instead of the other Saurios, or this Grace, on a character that actually wants to debuff the enemy, and that probably works really well. So I like his Grace. I like how it works a lot of the time, you know. Like, you know, Margaret's Grace is also good, but it only works if the enemy has buffs. This one's like every time you attack, like it doesn't matter. Like it uses a skill in general, right? It doesn't matter. Also, counters trigger every time. So, I'm in between putting him just competent for now but for the time I used him, he did hit pretty hard, so I'm going to put him here. But I think that depending on whatever character we're getting, how good they are, the character that's meant to be buffed by this Saurio, he might go here. But for now, there's no reason for me to do that. So that's it for now. Yes, I put him above this Saurio. I mean, this Saurio has a very good Grace. But other than that, like, these days, you just can't really keep up with the meta or anything like that. Man, I kind of want to put Valenti here, only because that catastrophe team is pretty decent. But it's like, if you're using the catastrophe team and you face a good player, you just get destroyed. You get absolutely shredded. To be fair, there's a lot of teams that happens that can happen. But yeah, moving on to PvE. I mean, similar situation, but I'm actually going to change a few. Let me actually just put Melly. Melly is literally the best PvE in the game in every scenario. Like, it's just not even funny how good he is. I'm putting down Sariel because I don't see why you would use him on the bird anymore, and that would be like the only way I'll ever consider him being up there. But he's of course still a really good farmer, so I'll still put up here, like alongside Kyo and stuff. I am gonna finally give the ranking she deserves. Megalda has finally proven her existence. For the longest time, I kept saying Megalda is a support character for a character that's gonna come out one day. And there he was. Meliodas works so goddamn well with Megalda, it's not even funny. Her passive of giving a buff every time a character gets full healed works insanely well with Meliodas. Because look at this, right? Let me bring up Meliodas in game again. Look at this. Boop, boop, boop. Look at this, right? All his stats are so insane. So insane. And then he gets... What is the math again? He gets 5 stacks of 6%. Right? 30%. And then on top of that, right? On top of that... Actually, it was open from here, yeah. He gets 5 stacks of 6%, so 30%. And then on top of that, Megalda, which has single target cards for his passive, gives another 8% 5 times. Right? So another 40%. So he has... up to 70% extra just stats in general, and then he has Amplify. So he can have up to 10 buffs, 10 just passive buffs on top of him, making so his level 1 Amplify card hits damage cap regardless of the phase, regardless of the stage you're going up against. It's absolutely insane. So, and then with all that, right, he has like decent lifesteal, like 18%, but then he adds on 70% lifesteal. And so every time he attacks, he full heals, and guess what? He gets another stack. Maybe you don't have like full stacks of Megalda, but even if you have only like 30% for Meliodas, if you have like 30% for Meliodas, and then you get, maybe like 1 or 2 stacks from Megalda, like your lifesteal is so high. Every time you're attacking, you're full healing. So the combo between Melly and Megalda is like nasty. So finally I'm putting Megalda up here at where she deserves to be now. I don't think there's much that changes. I do want to put up a character I was actually neglecting for the longest time, which is Nanashi. He's actually pretty good. I think that I did, make a video. I did beat stage 3 of the bird with Nanashi. It's pretty good. It's not the best. It's pretty good. But I think that legitimately the best Megalda team, and it's a team that I got a lot of people on Twitter tagging me saying it was the first team they used to beat stage 3, was this one. This team was a team that I got tagged on Twitter saying, yo, you should try this. This is like, I've never got as many tags on Twitter saying, yo, I copied your team from the video and I finally beat stage 3. This is absolutely insane. The damage reduction and insane stats combination between Megalda and Arthur is nasty. It's one of the best. So it makes me want to put Arthur up here. Just due to the fact that he just goes like that. And I want to put Ban down. Although Ban, I did use Ban to beat stage 3, but I would say it's not preferable. Over these other Megalda teams. I would say Ban seems not preferable. You want to use, of course, Matrona. But if you don't have Matrona, the Ban variant was also really good. If you haven't seen that, there's a lot of people say, oh, I don't have Matrona, I don't have Gringalfer. Maybe you don't have Megalda either. But if you have Megalda, you don't have Matrona, you don't have Green Galfer. I actually made a playlist. But alright. This one right here. This one. This team right here. I used no Matrona, no Green Galfer. Healing card size preferable. But it can be pretty decently. But bro, the Arthur team is next level. So I'm putting it there. I don't think there's other many changes other than that, to be fair. Because PvE, other than the melee being like really good for the bird now, there's no other like stages that have like really come out recently. The only thing I can think of is like Hell Guild Boss, which a lot of the characters that were good for it, like for Extreme, are still good for Hell. The only character I can think of is like Blue Diane, which she wasn't on the best Hell team for the past one, but she was in one of the best. So like I'll still keep her there, you know. I think that, if I'm not mistaken, the best one was Margaret, Estarossa, Green Galfer, and someone. I think it was Droll. Nah, I think it was someone else. But yeah, other than that, her PvE didn't change. I tried Sario in PvE. He's okay. Like I'm gonna put him there. Like Sario in PvE is okay. Again, his counters are his best friend for PvE. I mean, he was good for the new final. I haven't made a new video on the new final boss because I'm actually gonna post a video on it when it comes out on global. The new final boss that came out, he's good for it, but he's not even on the best team. The best team is actually Bon. So, you know, I mean it's just a counter. He's just a counter unit. I just think that his AOE doesn't hit as hard as you would want it to hit. I don't know if it's because cleave in general just doesn't hit that hard. When your character doesn't have like full crit rolls, and mine doesn't. Like if my Sario, I might try that, but I've tried giving like full crit rolls to cleave units, and they still don't hit that hard. Like in comparison, right? Sorry, I had to make a cut. I was saying I just wish I hit a little bit harder with his cleave card. And but his counters are really good. It's just, again, his passive is kind of pointless for the most part. Unless you're carrying with him a character that buffs, I guess Margaret. He just doesn't have a real use. You know, you're not going to be using him for farming. And you're not going to be using him for any hard activities, really. So there's not much of a use for him in the game yet. So I really can't put him above here. There's just no use for him in the game. The only thing I can think of is he might be good for Grey Demon. I will slide him in because I'm feeling generous. Because he's still a good unit. Like, I think that for like a few tower stages, he's probably going to be very good. And that's an excuse for me to put him there because I'm feeling generous. But legitimately, there's not much going on for him. Like most of these characters, except like maybe Green King and like these characters I put here for raids. Matrona, Matrona's still good for points. I don't want to put her down. Yeah, I can't put him there. Like, there's no point for him. Yeah, maybe someone finds a point for him. You should not be here. Maybe someone finds a point for him. Actually, you're good for farming. There's no point for you either. Like, all these characters have a point to be here, right? Yeah, I'm except Blue Arthur. I had him there for like Red Demon, but come on, you can solo Red Demon with Askener on auto. Yeah, I'm putting it here. I was feeling generous, but I think that I'm not feeling that generous. Not that generous. I'm feeling generous. I'm gonna put Liz here because I think she's still good for a lot of teams on the bird as well. Lots of changes. Lots of changes I wasn't prepared for. I mean, that's about it. That's the update list, and I'll be back with whatever new character is, which will probably be very good. Hopefully, the next festival will probably be very good. Hopefully.